Raiders, time is running out, but do not be alarmed because there is still a little bit more time to get your caravan ready for your expedition. Well, that is in fact if you are going to undertake the expedition. So let's get down and cover what you'll need to get ready for this, as well as break down the new Coldsnap update that's coming our way. Well friends, let's get to it. So that's right, Arc Raiders, the character wipe is at hand. Now friends, you might be worried about what that means for you, as well as, what will come in store for your new character. And if you did not want to undertake this, it isn't mandatory, but I will say this from the beginning. You definitely want to go ahead and do this character wipe and start off with a new character, because there will be a lot of benefits that we'll have to cover on here. But friends, also as I mentioned before, do not be worried because there's been a delay in the expedition embark. So we will be taking off with our caravan on December 17th, so it's an additional 2 days to gather up your resources. So when your expedition departs, all of the items in your stash will be contributed towards it. Your next Arc Raider can earn up to 5 total skill points based on the total value of stash and coins that you have at the time of your departure. Now, 1 million coins worth of value equals 1 extra skill point for your new Arc Raider. But when you restart, everything tied to your progress will also be reset. Now, this will mean your skill tree level, your stash, your workshop, crafting abilities, and even blueprints. But it's also worth noting that the initial onboarding step from your first deployment in Esperanza will also be skipped, so, you don't have to go through that little tedious bit one more time. But that all means that all maps and potential workshop upgrades will be available also to you as you reset, so no having to go progress to work to each one of the maps all over again, you'll have them from the start. So if you're still worried about wiping your character, do not worry too much because you won't be starting from square one. You will be getting some advantages and rewards for doing so. And some of the permanent unlocks that you'll have is going to be the Patchwork Raider outfit, the Scrappy Janitor cap, Expeditions Indicator icon, skill endpoints depending on your stash value as we mentioned before, and then 12 additional spots for your inventory space. Because I know, as many of you do, for myself, I like to hoard as many items as I possibly can, so that's a good benefit. And for doing the expedition, you'll also be getting temporary buffs. And by the way, friends, each expedition will have subsequent buffs that stack upon each other. So you are heavily incentivized to continuously do the expeditions, because if you fail to do one, you will lose all of your buffs that are temporary and you'll have to be back from, the starting point. So do not miss out on a window for expediting. But for the temporary buffs, you will get a 10% repair buff, a 5% XP boost, and 6% more materials from Scrappy each time. So Embark Studios also provided a timeline of events for when this will happen. Obviously, now the 17th is going to be the extended date for us to get our expeditions going, but it will have a lockout date of December 22nd for when they just go and acquire all the data from the different players. And then we'll have our construction phase for our caravan, and we will all be migrated together for the new update with our new raiders, with all of our buffs coming after that fact. So Embark Studios also provided us a note of why they're even doing this to begin with. Well, reading from them, it shows that progression wipes are going to be notoriously difficult for them to balance in online multiplayer games, as we all know. But mandatory global wipes can have their obvious benefits, and heavily invested players can get to restart their experience from the initial grind once again. So if you are a player that loves to grind things out, you can, have a fresh experience for it. But also, friends, and this is the big one, that the playing field will be leveled once again. So if you are a new player into it, you'll have these periods of, a safety net where you're not going to get wiped by people that have OP gear constantly, and it will make it so that it has better longevity and better balance over time. But one other key thing to note here is that you do not have to do this expedition, right? So if you have not felt that you've gathered enough resource, or you haven't played enough on your first character, you can continue. Do not go off on your expedition. But again, you will not be getting the perks, but you can join for the next window of opportunity to do the expedition. So, and as I mentioned before, there will be several of these expeditions that occur over time. Now onto the Coldsnap update. So to cover what we know is that it's going to be bringing a new weather condition across all of the surface world. That's right, it's not going to be a new map or new maps being brought in, but this new blizzard condition called a snowfall, that as it hits, it's going to lower visibility a lot and make conditions a bit more unpredictable. But what it will offer is being able to track the footprints of other raiders and Ark that are moving around so that you could stalk your prey, as well as, making sure that Extraction feels a bit more, unstable, unpredictable, not sure where things are going to be coming from because the blizzard's going to be so heavy. But then if you are a long-range player and you're trying to rely too much on your snipers, your Pharaoh, your Osprey, things like that, your visibility will be lower, so it's going to force you into close-quarter situations as this is active. It's not going to be always, but, makes you have to change up your gameplay a little bit. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to the potentiality of new arc units coming to the field. We do know from one of the image stills from the update, there is a new walker type, similar to like the Matriarch, but this thing has laser beams shooting out of its face, and I don't know what else it will have, but that's pretty scary news. Well, everyone, that about wraps it up for me. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're trying to do more Arc Raiders content on the channel here. I know that I'm known more for other games, but I would love to cover this more in the future, so please give it a like, a follow, give it some hype points and all the good stuff, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.